Tucks and Tails, joined by Chris Mason and, of course, Alex Roy. Alex recently played in the UK Open. How do you feel that went for yourself?
Well, I'm always glad to get to the third round because it obviously means you're in the money. Didn't play as well as I had been, to be honest with you, but obviously conditions were a bit different there,
a bit cold.
this year. But you just have to get on with it. And no, I'm, the last 2 years disappointed that I've drawn somebody that's playing in the Premier League, that's playing week in, week out, when you could obviously draw anybody. But that's just how the draw is, unfortunately. But at least the aim for me is to make the third round and then hopefully go from there. But the last couple of years has just been a bit tough. That's all.
Yeah, we see you at every UK Open. It's kind of just
one of the elite group that's played in every UK Open.
For me, it's just kind of a statue. He's just there. When you turn up in mine, he's there. But no,
with snow boots this year. Snow boots and a big cat.
What's next for you, Alex? When are we going to see you again?
Well, usually for me, I'm always doing the Challenge Tour.
Yep.
But this year, because of how things were with knee injury that I had last year and had an operation on it in November, didn't go to Q School, which meant to say I didn't go to the Challenge to do the Challenge Tour this year. So plans are that I'm going to do a few BDO events this year for the first time, show my face at some for about 20 years ago that I first started doing them. So yes, I'm going to do a few of those and see how it goes, and just see for this year. And then next year I'm already in talks with people about maybe getting on doing the Q School again and start again, kind of thing.
Well, we go back a long
just
time.
About 25 years.
20 plus years, and it's ironic really that when we first started playing, we were sort of going holiday camp stuff, Great Yarmouth and all that kind of thing, and it must feel strange. People have often said to me, "Oh, do you fancy coming back?" And to think that he's going to go back playing some BDO, and you're sort of going back into that environment again. You dreading it, looking forward to it?
It'll be a new challenge. I actually had I get on very well with Paul Hogan, who obviously does fantastic at the UK Open, and I said
fantastic everywhere.
I said to him, I said, I'm practicing at home now. I'm doing 20 minutes on the board. I go downstairs and watch 3 hours of box sets of some sort of films or whatever, then go back upstairs, do 20 minutes, because that's what I'm going to have to get used to again to the first couple of rounds for the BDO. And he laughed at me, and I said, I've been around a long time. It's one of those things that I will do, and if I can get that right and get my mindset right, for especially in first couple of ones, and then after that, obviously, it gets shorter distance. And because
you're obviously still playing at a decent level, otherwise you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Everybody thinks the BDO, or it's still tough. We were just discussing earlier.
Crazy.
The Isle of Man averages. There was some
133 from
and Hogan had a 137, didn't he?
139.
139.
And he beat Dan Day. It was
didn't he have a
second round, and Dan Day had 135 and lost.
And then I think he played county, didn't he? The
weekend after.
The weekend after the UK Open had a 106 average or something.
Yeah.
So
I mean the averages are. I mean obviously the ones that have established themselves now in the BDO are putting in fantastic averages all the time. So I mean yes, it's going to be a different. Obviously for me, it'd be probably there's going to be a big target on my back, and everybody's going to want.
Although for you it'd be it's an environment where you can gather some momentum, because in the PDC, as we know, you've got to be a bang
all the time.
You have one poor game, and when I say poor game, on about something about 90.
It's not even a poor game anymore. You can miss one double, and it can kill you in the PDC. And I know that there are games that it will happen in the BDO as well, but obviously
later on.
Yes,
later on,
and hopefully,
you'll be
obviously
up to speed by then.
Yeah.
I think for me, in terms of the PDO and the BDC. The BDO and the PDC. That was put my teeth back in. The BDO and the PDC. The difference at the moment is like what you've said. They're playing all the time, 24/7, and you drop below a 94 average, and
you're in danger.
You find yourself 2-1, 3-1 down already.
Yeah, well, you're seeing so many people now averaging 100 and getting beat.
Yeah.
No other time before I can remember. I do have an opinion on this. It'd be interesting, Alex, because me and Alex are cut from the same cloth, same era. We used to play on boards that were tiny with staples on, wires that would move, much smaller target areas. Now
break your points all the time when they're hitting concrete floors.
Scotland. Now the target areas, you could almost fit an old board inside. Do you think it's time that they made the game more difficult, or do you think it's just evolution? Would you prefer smaller trebles?
I'd like to see, to be honest with you, it's probably obviously how the game and how everything's evolved with darts. Obviously that's looking one way, but I would still like to see whether they could bring an old board out and have a tournament on what we used to play.
See what happens.
See the numbers then.
And see what the averages are then, because, you know,
that'd be interesting.
people always go, oh, you know, you've been around forever and, you know, your averages were only like 90 on the TV and this, that, and the other. And I go, you try that on an old board.
Yeah.
Where you could literally, you'd bing, 120 or you know, 60. I even did that a couple of weeks ago actually on a Blade 5 board. I have to say, I'm not. They are best boards. But on a Blade 5 board, literally, it was at one of the Riley's qualifiers. 60 in. 60 bounce out, 60 bounce out. And they all looked at me and I went, on an old board I can understand that, but not on one of these. So I must have been playing reasonably well that day to do that, because the
wires are so fine.
Exactly. To do that. But I actually did that in a round one game at the Rileys. I think I was at Twickenham when I did that. And they all looked at me and I was like, can you put the magnet back on or do something with it, because that doesn't usually happen.
Replay.
Yeah. and it was just one of them things. But no, it would be nice if they could
find a happy medium.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hard because the crowds are there. They want to hold the 180 placards.
I mean,
everybody loves the big averages.
Chris will tell you that when the first board that really didn't have many wires on was a Riley's Eliminator board.
Yeah. Yep.
And they brought it out for the World Match Play, which I think was the year that Peter Everson won it.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly. But they came out and we were all like, what is it? Yeah, wow. Because
and that looked massive to us.
And that looked massive to us then, because there was no wire on the board and you just threw at the colours. It was like bang, bang, bang. And it just proved that, and even back then, I mean, what was that, 96, 95,
96, yeah.
Before I was even born.
So, oh God almighty.
22 years ago.
Yeah, so that came out, and then after that World Match Play, they started buying them in the pubs and clubs because they'd seen it's something new. And I think Riley's at that time were knocking the board out then at 50 quid a time, and that was a lot of money for a board then.
Sure
and
was.
People were buying them because it was just something completely different. And we're going to have less bounce outs now, and we're going to have this, that, and that. But you know, it just shows you how much the game's evolved.
Bounce outs ain't the trouble anymore. It's full outs.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, there we go. Thank you.
No
Alex,
problem at all. Thank you very much.
Windmill,
Cheers, pal.
get some smaller treble boards. That's what we want.
Yeah.
See you later.
Well, they still do, the champion's choice.